Oh man, we've got some green back in my thumbnail and also in the markets. Bitcoin up 4%, Ethereum running close to 8%. The markets are green after amazing CPI figures, a triple beat on the CPI figures. But why are we celebrating 8.5% inflation? We're going to cover off exactly why markets are buoyant and whether this is the last we are going to see of these super high inflation figures, and are we now on a trajectory downwards, which means markets can finally run. I'm going to give you the 5 altcoins I'm watching right now which are reacting really well to this market news. And finally, we've got some green in the market. If you haven't watched my live stream earlier, if you do get a chance later on today, do go and watch that because we break it down into detail. If you haven't got time, we're going to summarize that here for you now. Smash the like button and subscribe. As you can see, Bitcoin sitting at 24,000. But what did we get? Well, the expectations for inflation were that month on month we would be 0.2%. We came in at 0% on headline, which means there was no inflation on that month. Huge. On the headline figure, we were expecting 8.7%. It came in at 8.5%. So that's your second beat. And then on core inflation, which is this line here, we were expecting an increment up to 6.1%. That came down to 5.9%, showing that inflation across the board was coming down, which is really impressive. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you take a look at the Fed rate monitor tool, which are the CME futures and how they price in the interest rate hikes, remember the next interest rate hike is expected on September the 21st. Now, had we have missed, and we spoke about this in the live stream before the reading came out, if we missed inflation badly, there was a chance that Jerome Powell could have came out before the September 21st meeting and expedited a horrible rate hike, which would have slammed the market. But the fact that these readings have all beat to the positive side is really good. The other things that market was fearful before this reading was, what if headline inflation came down, but core inflation climbed too much, right? Which shows that, yeah, fine, commodities and energy and food came down in July, but core inflation is still rising. But we're seeing inflation start to improve across the board, including airline fares, lodging, citrus fruits, which we figured out during the live stream as well. Don't ask, long story. So lots of things are definitely coming down, which is great. So as you can see, before the meeting, this notched up to 58% of the market had priced in 75 basis points. Again, I want to give you the context behind this. Last week when the market was rallying, they made the decision, the market made the decision that the Fed were no longer going to do 75 basis points. They're only going to do 50 basis points. Leading up to this meeting, they started changing. And this morning, 58% of the market were believing there would be 75 basis point rate hike. Now look at what's happened. Since that reading, 75% of the market expects just a 50 basis point rate hike on September the 21st. So that is really good news here on the Fed rate monitor. And this is one of the reasons we're getting a good run now. The markets have just opened up. You can see the SPY is just calling off a little bit, but we are at 417 now. If you look at Bitcoin, we're now breaking through the 24,000 level. And I want to show you the next key levels here on Bitcoin. If you look at the 4-hourly chart here on Bitcoin, you can see we still need to break above this 24K mark. And when we do, then we can look for price points closer to 28, 29, and 30,000 on this relief rally, which is really exciting for Bitcoin. Now, we do need to break through 24, and we do need to get higher than the previous high, which sits at about 24,700. So we need to finish this move off before you can take a nice long position if you're trading this move. Of course, I'm all in the market. I said this 13, 14 days ago. I made a video saying I would not be comfortable not being all in on this market. Now you can see why, because the market can move very quickly, and more important than the market, I mean, the price comes secondary. The data is now showing positive. Finally, we've got that interest rate, the inflation rate notching down. I mean, we wanted this inflection point down. Now, we do need to wait for the next meeting. The next inflation report comes out on September the 13th, which is 8 days before the FOMC meeting on the 21st. So we do want to see that come down as well, because if we see 2 readings low and this inflecting down again, that is good evidence for Jerome Powell to go easy on the rate hikes and start his U-turn. And when he U-turns, that's when the markets are really going to get excited. So more important than just what we're seeing today, and hopefully we can break the 24 level and start our rally up towards 30K. But what's more important is that markets are feeling positive. The markets can finally say, hang on, Jerome Powell has control of the situation. Inflation is coming down. He was right. There was a lag, and inflation is transitory, albeit it was here for longer. And maybe we don't have to face the reality of stagflation. Remember, stagflation is when the economy is getting weaker, unemployment is rising, but inflation is still high. Now that we're getting inflation coming down, that is a good sign. It shows that the interest rate cuts are working, and now it's just a case of, does Jerome Powell lighten up on his rate hikes, does a couple of 50 basis point hikes, given that one rate hike of 75 basis point has now filtered through. And remember, he did another one in the previous meeting anyway, so that's got to filter through as well. So still looking for this higher high here on Bitcoin. Then we can look for the trade up. Remember, this is still a relief rally for me, so I'm still keeping my limit at that 29,000-30,000 mark, because you do start to run into your weekly EMA ribbon here on Bitcoin, which we need to be very, very cognizant of. So if you take a look here, you will run into your EMA ribbon here at 30k. So this is a relief rally if and until we flip our EMA ribbon. But I'm not comfortable sitting on the sideline saying, no, we're definitely going to come back down to the bottom. There's no guarantee of that. So I'm in the market, I'm riding this up, and I want to see, do we get rejected from this EMA ribbon, in which case I'll hold and I'll buy the dip as we come back down, or can we turn this relief rally and blend it into our next bull run, which can happen. And that is what I'm looking out for here on this market. So looking forward for this move to the upside. Want to see how markets respond. Don't forget, you can see how the markets have opened up today. You can see that the Dow Jones is up, S&P is up 1.5%, and the Nasdaq, more importantly, up 2% after this cooler than expected inflation report. Really good triple beat on inflation. You can also see the dollar index, which, remember, we monitor this a lot, guys. We said the dollar index moves inversely correlated to Bitcoin. So when this falls, Bitcoin does well, okay? So we want this to get its next major rejection. We want something like this, because when this happened last time on dollar index, Bitcoin went on its run. So we want to see this. This is weekly candles you're seeing here. If I flip across to the daily candles, you can see we are now losing our daily EMA ribbon here on the dollar index, which is a huge moment. This is huge. Remember, we were covering this over the last couple of days and wondering whether the dollar index was going to bounce and go create a higher high. The fact it's losing its EMA ribbon on this inflation news is a really good sign for the crypto markets. And we can see the crypto markets are responding. Ethereum up 7%. Okay, big move here on Ethereum. Up now, creating a higher high. It posted that higher high. If I show you on the hourly chart, you can see here it has managed to achieve its higher high, right? Easily eclipsing that previous higher high, which is good. And we're seeing the narrative start to play out. Remember, I said I was focused on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then your layer 1, layer 2 plays. I've been steadfast on that, and I've been saying that. And we can see those narratives are the ones moving. Ethereum moving strongly. Along with Ethereum, the layer 2 solutions are moving strongly as well. You got Matic up 5% today. Big move here on Matic, but it needs to go post its higher high. It's got some more work to do, up towards 95 cents there. Optimism also moving on the day, up almost 11% today here on Optimism. Big move here in the layer 2 spaces. And then your solid layer 1 solutions as well. You've already got Phantom up 8.4% today, back at 40 cents, already 100% up from its lows. You've got Near Protocol up 6% as well now, sitting at $5.60. So now you're seeing these solid layer 1 solutions and the layer 2 solutions start to move. Avalanche, also worthy of a mention, up 8.6% today. So huge moves in the market, and this is as expected. I mean, remember, we were waiting for that inflation reading to come down, and now we've got that inflation reading improve. This could be the sign that we've bottomed out here, and now we can finally start to see inflation come back down to its target rate of 2% over the next set of months. But more importantly, that Jerome Powell has this under control, and he can begin to plan his U-turn, which is going to help markets move up long term. So really exciting news here on crypto. Don't forget to watch out for those narratives. If you're trading any of these moves, please do so very carefully. Check out the links in the description to BYBIT and BitGet. Do support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.